All Dungeons & Dragons classes explained in less than 5 minutes. Tinker, Anger Problems, Horny, Edgelord, Religious Freak, Crazy Cat Lady, Bonk Master, Karate Kid, Takes Pinky Promises Too Seriously, Hunter, Stealthy, Edgelord, Innate Magic, Daddy Issues, Book Nerd. Totally is less than 5 minutes. Alright, jokes aside though, all Dungeons & Dragons class explained in less than 5 minutes. Artificers are like Tinker/Builders. Typically they're going to make explosives, guns, mech suits, armors, weapons, magical weapons, and anything under the sun. Playing Artificer means you want to be a builder who would use their technology and inventions to solve their problem. Next off, we got Barbarian, which is the simplest at its core, but can get more complicated. Basically, Barbarians are angry, and they typically like to hit things and show displays of strength. A lot of Barbarians are from packs or tribes, and typically in these packs or tribes, the strongest is the leader. That's why they value strength over basically everything, because their strongest is usually their leader. Next up, we have Bard, one of my favorites. Bards typically express themselves through music, dance, and the likes, but they're also typically the face of a group and one of the best skill monkeys because they're jack of all trades. On top of this, bards are 9th level casters, but typically they're used for more utility than damage. Next off, we have Blood Hunters. Blood Hunters are edgelords, honestly, but they're fun, cursed edgelords. A Blood Hunter's purpose is hunting down evil and destroying it at any means necessary, basically. That means even if you have to give in to some kind of curse yourself or use blood rites, then that's what it takes. They use their rights to give them power, and it's very versatile between right to right. So you have to kind of pick and choose which one you want to suit your situation. Next off, we have Clerics. Clerics are pretty easy. They follow their god, and they do whatever their god's tenets typically say. So what god the cleric follows could make a big difference in how the cleric is played. They follow a god of war, they might be at war at all times. A peace god, they might try to bring peace to civilization and avoid conflict. If they follow the god of death, then they might be all for murder. A lot of the time, the cleric is typically like the group's mom or dad, I find. Next off, we have Druid. Druid's your typical animal/nature lover. Druids will typically prefer the company of a cat or a plant over other humans, and sometimes isolate themselves in the forest to be one with nature. Druids are always looking out for the well-being of the world that they live in and the nature around them, trying to help the natural cycle of things. Fighters are the most stereotypical warrior, bodyguard, mercenary types. A fighter is a very skilled warrior. They can use all type of weapons and all type of armors in a multitude of different ways. Fighter further expands its arsenal through its subclass and its multitude of extra feats that other people don't get. Next, we have Monk. Monk is typically your trained martial artist. They're very good at hitting and punching and kicking things, but also they're good at escaping, running, and jumping. Monks typically believe in not just physical strength, but also spiritual perfection. Monks, through their intense training of their mind and their body, make it so they're less susceptible to charms, make it so they're immune to poison and disease, and eventually they don't have to eat or drink and can't be magically aged. Paladins. Paladins live by the oath. Deciding your oath is a huge thing as a paladin, because that is what defines you as a person. Your oath is your life as a paladin. So if you're an oath of revenge paladin, you need to get your revenge, because that's your whole thing. If you're an oath of devotion, you're devoted to helping someone or something. Or if you're an oath breaker, you can continue down a broken path, and then maybe people know you broke your oath and they won't trust you. Or you're trying to get redemption for a broken oath that you couldn't keep up. Next, we have Rangers. Rangers are kind of like your typical hunter. They know the way of the lands. They know every nook and cranny of this land, and they know how to navigate and survive no matter what. Rangers, through their abilities and magic, are very good trackers and very good at finding people and getting information. Rangers, like fighters, are also very versatile in the type of weapons they can use, and their subclasses allow them to kind of branch out in various different directions depending on what they want to do. Rogue. This is your typical thief or pickpocket. Rogues have a ton of skills and be built a ton of different ways, but typically they're made to be ambushers who hide in the shadows and then attack when the moment's right or catch people off guard. They also can be masters of disguise and deception and illusion. A rogue is typically your best option for a scouting party and to break into an area. Sorcerer, you have innate magic via your bloodline typically. The most important thing about Sorcerer is their metamagics. The metamagics allow them to manipulate the weave in different ways that no other class can. This manipulation can be subtle, making it so you don't actually have to say anything or do hand signs. It can be so you do the maximum amount of damage output, or it can mean you hit 2 targets instead of 1. Depending on the type of source you are and the metamagics that you use, it can give you a ton of versatility with magic that other classes are just not able to do. Warlocks serve a patron. Typically, their patron will have a goal in mind, and the warlock will try to fulfill these goals, and they will do it usually in exchange for some sort of power. Warlocks are known for 3 things. They need a short rest all the time, Eldritch Blast, and their invocations. Invocations are like the bread and butter of a warlock that allows them to really diversify what they do and be really good and exceptional at certain things, even if it is just Eldritch Blast and pulling the thing and doing more damage. Picking a patron is very important because it kind of determines the way you will play, because certain patrons might want certain things of you in return for your power. And last but not least, we have Wizard. Wizard is one of the most diverse casters because they have these huge spell books that you can choose from each and every day to pick their spells for certain situations. Wizards can have huge utility or huge damage and then swap it out, unlike some of the other classes, as long as they have the scrolls to do so. Wizards are huge nerds who learn their arcane powers through literally just studying books and scrolls. There are various types of wizards depending on your playstyle. Some are great for damage, and some are great for utility. And with that, that's all Dungeons & Dragons classes explained in less than 5 minutes.